Hi, welcome back to ODE YouTube channel and to another collection overview. Today I'm showing you my English Parker Duofold pens. So let's start with some history. Most of the information I have were based on the website parkerpens.net and the Parker Duofold book. This one, which is a great information resource. So let me put it here on the side and let's talk about the pens or the first parts of history. So in 1941, the Parker factory in New Haven started making Duofold pens, and the Duofold pens in 1941 were very similar to the streamlined Parker Duofold from the United States. However, they had some different colors and materials. The first productions were made, the first parts for the UK production were made in Canada. They were shipped to the UK and they were assembled there. Later, in the UK, they started making their parts locally. In 1946, the model was redesigned and it was called New Style or just NS. It was still a button filler, but it had a double jewel shape and it had very beautiful finishes and celluloids. It reminded us of some Parker Vacuumatic. Maybe I can show you here some examples just for you to see. These were the first kind of Duofolds, which was kind of the streamlined version from the United States, and these are the new style. And the new style have this cap with a jewel on top and also jewel on the bottom. So they are more they were button fillers, as you can see here, but they were more similar with the actually the Parker Vacuumatic model. Sorry, I hit the camera once again. I don't have any of those to show you, so that's why I showed you the book. In 1948, it was restyled and it was renamed AF, and that meant aluminium filler. And it has the same jewel on top, but the bottom was rounded. This pen was made in different versions in England, France and Denmark, but it had this kind of nib, 14 karat gold nib. It says Parker Duofold and it has the N for New Haven, so we know it is an English pen, and you can unscrew the back of the pen and you'll see the aluminum filler. So this is kind of a button filler but with a different system from the traditional button filler, but just a fancier variation of the same thing. So this was with this flared up section. It was a really interesting pen in its design. Let me put it here. Then in 1950, Parker, in the English Parker, started the production of the Parker 51 Aerometric, and the new filling system was proved to be very popular. However, some people still liked big exposed nibs like this one. So they decided to make a pen with the same kind of filling system, so the aerometric filling, but with an exposed nib. And so in 1950 they decided, sorry, let me just check my notes here so I don't mess these up. So they started in 1953, they started the production of the Parker Duofold in the Aerometric system. And the Parker Duofold that was made was the Duofold and the Demi Duofold. I only have the Duofold size. It's like this. It has a cap band. It's very similar to this one, as you may see. And it has gold nib also. I need to clean this one. But it had a very big difference that was the shape of the section. It's tapered down very straight and it has no place to stop, let's call it, no flare up to stop the fingers to go into the nib. They won't go, but just that. And it was aerometric filling system, but otherwise it had the same design with a jewel on top. This one lost the jewel, and it has the rounded bottom. In 1954, so 53, in 54, they decided to make a new version of the Duofold, and there was the Demi, which was smaller. I don't have one, and they decided to make a bigger version, and they called it the Senior Duofold, and they have differences in the cap bands and slight differences in the clip. So these pens were also marked as Duofold. You can see there, Parker Duofold, made in England, and they had this beautiful nib, and of course also the aerometric filling. And I'll stop showing you the filling because it doesn't make sense anymore. I just told you it is that. And again, taper down straight section. So this one, the Senior Duofold, was larger than the Duofold. The Senior Duofold was larger than the Duofold. Duofold was larger than the Demi Duofold. Then, in 1958, they decided to release two more sizes, and the other two sizes were the Parker Duofold Massima, which is bigger than the Duofold, not much bigger, but a little bigger. Actually, you can fit the cap of this one on that pen, but when you screw it, you will smash the nib. So be careful about that, because the caps are interchangeable, but this one doesn't have the space for this nib. There was a variation here. The nib of this pen had a nib that was more similar to the nib of the Vacuumatic with the arrow, and this nib was a little smaller. So you can see there are slight differences between the pens. Not that much, but some. But when you look at them, it's not that easy to understand which size they are. So when you're looking through eBay, don't forget to try to find what is engraved on the barrel, because this one says Duofold, this one says Massima Duofold, so you would know that. And also the thickness of the cap bands may give you some hint, or the kind of nib, but I will talk about that just in a moment. And so they decided to create the Senior Duofold and also a smaller one, the Lady Duofold. The Lady Duofold is exactly the same style, but they decided to make it with a hooded nib. So it was a little different. This hooded nib pen, this is just a side thought. This hooded pen reminds me somehow of the modern Parker 51. If you ask me, I don't really enjoy the fact the new 51 is a screw fit cap. I think it should be a slip cap, and it's my opinion on that. But some people say, no, Parker never did it. Yes, they did. They once had a pen that had hooded nib and had a screw fit cap, which is a characteristic of the Duofold, is the screw fit cap. So some things make some kind of sense. We may not like them, but some things make some sense. And finally, in 1962, the range was completed with two other pens that I don't have both. One, it was the Junior, which was bigger than the lady, smaller than the demi-duofold that was smaller than the duofold, and the Slimfold, which was smaller than all the others, just bigger than this one. And this is an interesting pen because it really looks like a miniature of the other one. Very fun pen with a small nib. And it's most impressive when we look at the Senior and the Slimfold. They are really different. This is a very thin pen. This is a girthy one, but I love how the construction is the same. Just different details. This one says clearly Slimfold there, Parker Slimfold. But although the name is Slimfold, it was a model of the range of the duofolds. And this one says Lady somewhere. I'm not sure if I can find it or show it. There, Parker Lady. Okay, so these were the main, this was the range. These pens were very interesting, and in the future they gave opportunity to other models. One of the models later, but it was not part of the duofold range, but was inspired by, it was just, you can see, different design. It was a very inexpensive pen, and it has this problem of this plastic becoming a whitish thing. That doesn't happen with those duofolds, but it happens with these pens, with these cheaper pens. Something that sometimes happens also with the Parker 21. I think it is kind of the degradation of the plastic. And you can see this is the Parker 17, which was really inspired on the Lady duofold. And later, even later in 1971, I think, so not related anymore, they created a pen with the same name, which was the New Slimfold. And the New Slimfold was bigger than the older Slimfold, but it has the shape of a Parker 45. But the Parker 45 was bigger. It was already created in 1960. It was a slip cap, and this one was created as a screw fit cap, so it makes sense to be called the New Slimfold because the duofold range was screw fit cap, but the nib unit was the same as the Parker 45. So this was just to show you the evolution from that place. Now I just want to show you some more details. So these are all the sizes of the pens that I talked to you about. I already have some ink in my fingers, and I want to show you how they look, how they compare with the Parker Senior duofold, the flat top from the United States, and you can see it is the same size, maybe 3 millimeters longer, the Massima duofold. And I just want to show you also the nibs, the nib sizes, so you can take a look at how they look. I'm not sure if that's very visible here against this background, but just want to show you how they look like. So this is, I will put them closer together so you can see. So this is the new style, which is a different style. Then let's go from the smaller to the bigger, or the smallest to the biggest. We have the Lady duofold, the Slimfold duofold, Senior duofold, Massima, and Senior duofold flat top. So you can see the evolution of the nib sizes, and it is an interesting, this is the evolution in terms of model size, not in chronological order as I showed you before. So this is kind of interesting to see, in my opinion. Again, I was talking in a moment about how, let me just put them carefully aside. When I was talking to you about how you can find them when you look on eBay or something like that, when you're finding your pens, the best way to clearly know which pen you're talking about is going to the nib. And let me just put it here. When you look at the nib, you have this interesting table. So this table will show you that let me just zoom in. So this will tell you that the Massima has a number 50 nib, and you can see there is a number 50 on the bottom below England, and the Lady Duofold had a number 4, which you can't see on this pen because it is a hooded nib, but you can see it again on the Slimfold and on the others. So check it here, Parker 14 karat 585, and then England, and then number 5. So this is the number 5 nib. When you look at this, you will find if the pen has, first it has the correct nib, and you will know which kind of model. But always try to compare that with the size of the pen, because it's not completely impossible that, for example, the nib of the Duofold is fitted on the... It shouldn't be, because they are slightly different, but sometimes the size allows for some creativity. So you may have a wrong nib on them. But this way, with the numbering, this is the 35, so 35 is the senior Duofold. And this is how you can go with them. You can try to collect them all. I think it's funny. I'm not going that way, and I don't want to think too much about it because I don't want to get into that. But imagine to have all the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sizes of these pens. So 7 sizes and 4 colors: green, red, which is kind of this burgundy, blue, and black. I don't have any green of those. So this is kind of a rabbit hole if you want to go that way. For me, the one that I want to keep the most is the Massima, because I think the Massima is great, and I also kind of enjoy a lot the Slimfold because it is fun, and it mostly because of the size comparison between both. Of course, this one will be the most expensive and harder to find. So this is all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this collection overview of the Duofold. I hope you did. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and keep coming back to the channel for more videos. See you next time. Bye.